Hello and welcome to the Surviving to Thriving podcast series. I'm your host, Casey Miller. So the purpose of this podcast is to provide you with the knowledge that you need to become the CEO of your health and become the best version of yourself. I really, truly believe this. The top 3 things that you could ever invest in your life are going to be your health, who you surround yourself with, and acquiring more knowledge. If you continuously pour into these 3 cups, I promise you, your life will change dramatically for the better. Now, luckily, this podcast will pour into your health and knowledge, but if you want to surround yourself with like-minded people who will push you to win, go ahead and join our Surviving to Thriving community. We'd love to have you. The link is going to be below in the description. Before we get into our episode, I want to take a quick second to thank our sponsor, Legion Athletics. I've been in the game for a long time, and it's really hard to find supplements that you can trust while also tasting great. I believe Legion is a perfect mixture of the two. They're backed by science. Everything is clearly labeled on the bottle. And from my own personal experience, everything does really do taste really great. So if you want to get your own Legion supplements, use the code THRIVINGON, one word, to get 20% off your first order and double reward points. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode. And welcome back to another episode, the first episode of 2024. How exciting. Full disclosure, this is probably the 3rd take I've done on this episode because this is a heavy episode. A lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts running in my brain. I will do my best to try to keep it in a straight and narrow, but if you ever have had a conversation with me or friends with me, my brain kind of goes in circles. ADHD, hello. So I will try to keep it as straight and narrow and simple as possible, but I may go into a little bit loopholes or rabbit holes, but I'm just going to do the start and finish and just get it done and call it good. And so this episode is going to be about a small recap of 2023 and how Thriving On is going to be changing in 2024. Think of it as Thriving On 2.0. And no, Thriving On will not be growing bigger. We will actually be making some drastic changes to it. And I know for a fact in my heart, this is the best decision for Thriving On and our clients. We take care of our people. We do what's right, even when it is hard, even when it's a challenging decision. And this is probably one of the hardest decisions I've had to make within the business, but it is 100% necessary. So wait until the end of the episode. I'll get into the nitty-gritty details of what is going to be changing and what it's going to look like in full disclosure transparency on it. So that way you guys can have an understanding. But I'm going to go into the heavy stuff. If you don't like heavy stuff, if you don't like that kind of stuff, you can fast forward to the end if you just want to hear about that. If you want to hear the heavy stuff, be right here with me. I'm the person that doesn't necessarily like emotions, but I've learned the hard lesson that you do have to feel your emotions in order to be more emotionally resilient and not let it control your actions. And so I've been doing the hard work of feeling my feelings. So we're going to go into my feelings and be 100% transparent, which that's something that I always say that I always will, but I'll wholeheartedly 100% own my shit and say that I haven't been lately. And it's not because I've been trying to hold things from you guys. It's because it's a natural tendency. Any coach or mentor of mine or best friends know this. I communicate this up front, is like when I get stressed, when I get overwhelmed, when I get upset, I tend to go into, I call it hermit mode. You know what I mean? Like I kind of like implode. I bottle things up. I don't ask for help. I don't communicate. And then when I do, I explode. And so I'm trying to work on this. And so I'm holding myself accountable on this in a very large way. But I mean, go big, go home. So we're doing it on a podcast. And so basically what's going to be happening with Thriving On is that we are not going to be growing. We're actually going to be taking a step back and rebuilding and doing things the right way. And here are the reasons why. 1, when I first created this business, I was not in a good place in my life. Like so many of you guys listening, we all have these moments. It's a human experience where we go through trial and error. We don't have some great moments, but that's what makes the highs higher and sweeter. And so it's just part of life. And when I first started this business, I was in a very unhappy marriage. Love and respect my ex, but we just wanted 2 separate things in life. He wanted a family. He wanted a white picket fence. He wanted to like have more of like a country feel, family feel, all these different things. And I wanted to travel. I wanted to build my business. I don't know if I want to have kids. It's not necessarily a no, but it's like, I don't know right now. I can't make that decision. And he needed that. And so that was just a hard decision of like, we just want two separate things in life. And so either he would have to sacrifice or I would have to sacrifice, but either way, both of us would be completely miserable. So in order for us to be 100% happy, we had to go our separate ways. And so when I built the business, my way of coping with my stress or my emotions is actually running away from it. Again, 2023 is the evolution of feeling your feelings, not running away from your feelings. I'm learning that. I talk with my clients all the time, but sometimes it's easier said than done, but I'm doing the work and I'm proud of that because I've seen myself become more resilient to my emotions, be more even to that, be sorting through things and really identifying what's holding me back as a person to really grow. But before I dove into work, and I was willing to work 24/7. I was willing to work 7 days a week. I was willing to grind. I was willing to sacrifice my health, mental and physical. I was willing to stay my ex and I didn't really like spending time with each other because it just wasn't working. We were finding ways to not spend time with each other. I didn't want to go and live my life. I thought work was life. I worked at a desk 24/7. I'd spend very, very little time taking care of myself. And it was just bad. It was a bad situation. And over a period of time after the divorce, I had this moment of, you get to choose who you want to be. You get to rewrite your story. You get to choose how you want to live, what kind of person you want to be, what kind of life that you want to live as well. And so over a period of time, I've been doing some trial and error to try to figure that out because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so if you've seen on the background, you might have seen some ups and downs on the personal side. Again, it's part of the human experience. Sometimes learning what not to do is just as good as learning what to do. And with some trial and error and a lot of growth, I've gotten into a place where I'm getting more clarity of what kind of a person I want to be, what kind of life that I want to live. And wonderful position where I get to make that happen. Not a lot of people get to do that. Not a lot of people get to start from scratch and build back up. And over a course of a period of time, little things started coming in. Some of the things that I started manifesting at the beginning of the year started coming in. And one of those things, best thing that's happened so far in my life this year, sorry, my bangs are in my face, is my boyfriend, Calvin. He is absolutely amazing. Basically everything that I manifested at the beginning of the year, telling myself what kind of a person I want, what kind of life that I want, what kind of priorities and character qualities would be, it's him. And the funny thing is I was not looking. I already had went on some nightmare dates, some good dates, but some nightmare dates, but nothing was really clicking. I didn't really feel that. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to date. Like, I'm just going to take a break. Like, I'm just done. And then here's the story is how I met Calvin. Little side note. We were in a position of potentially hiring a programmer for Thriving On. We provide programming for our clients and we needed somebody to potentially come in. And so we started doing some interviews just to put the feelers out. And so I messaged Calvin because he is a smarty pants, really, really great person too, really cares for people as well, which is all client characteristics of what we want within Thriving On. And I asked him over an Instagram message, I think a voice message actually, if he wanted to work for me. And he's like, no, but we can do a work date. I'm going to be in town like next week. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I need another friend that does what I do. Maybe we can bounce off ideas and things like that. I had nothing in mind. But on his side of things, that was his way to get the foot in the door to eventually ask me out on a date. And little by little, he weaseled his way in there. And finally, I said yes. And the rest is history. Like very fast, but probably one of the best decisions in the world. And the reason why I bring that up is because now I actually want to live my life. I actually want to go make memories. I want to spend time with my significant other. I want to go on walks with him. I want to go talk. I want to connect. I want to go to restaurants and eat food. I want to have something beyond Thriving On in the business. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going anywhere. Like you're gonna have to kick me out if you want me to leave. But I need to have that balance. But the way that I built Thriving On before did not allow me to. And so when I started trying to put personal boundaries on myself, when I started trying to limit my time and work on my mental health and my physical health, when I started trying to make time to be with my significant other, things started going through the cracks within Thriving On. Full disclosure. Like, I'm not holding anything back. And the qualities that we stand by, we were no longer keeping up with it. And the way that I built it, like something that I know wholeheartedly that I want to do. With every fiber in my being, I know this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. To help people become their best selves through nutrition, fitness, and mindset. So that way they can take these skills and translate it into other things in life to really, truly live their best life. I wanted to set it all on fire. I did. I didn't want to do it anymore because it was miserable. Absolutely miserable because I couldn't live my life. I was battling between the past Casey and this Casey, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I knew for a fact that if I kept doing what I was doing before, I would literally run Thriving On into the ground and I would not have it. And so we had this hard realization as to we had to make some extreme changes within Thriving On. And it wasn't necessarily like when we built it, it was just like a complete 180, right? Like when we built Thriving On, it built fast. Like, guys, I'm not this business guru. I don't really know much. I'm a baby in business, like years or whatever you call it. I have mentors that teach me all these different things and they've been super helpful. And you guys, the community, like this is the reason why we grew so fast, but I was not prepared for it. And so we grew so fast and the structure that we built was not sustainable, full disclosure. And it's just, with that being said, sorry, so many thoughts going in my head. Let me recap what I'm trying to say here is because we built things unsustainable, we have to break it down and build back up. Very much like it's so funny how many times business is just like coaching a client. Like, I swear to goodness, it's so funny because I was talking to one of my mentors. I'm like, this is exactly what I talk to with my clients all the time, where clients come in and they try to develop this foundation or this system for their health physically and mentally. And so they try something and they build. And when they get there, they're realizing that it's unsustainable, just like building a house, right? Like you can try to quicken things up or do the wrong methods. And by the time you build the house, now this house is like really crappy and it's about to fall and there's leaks and there's repairs. And now it's costing you all this money and time and peace of mind. And it's miserable to be in there. And sometimes you have to break it all the way down and rebuild a foundation to build back up. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of times when my clients are in that position where I'm like, what you built with previous coaches or programs or diets, it's just not sustainable for you. And you're here and you're miserable. So that's why you keep falling off the wagon. It's not consistent. It's because it's just not suitable for you. It's not long-term. It's not sustainable. So what we have to do is break you down and rebuild you back up in a way that's sustainable for you. So that way you can get results and keep it. And it's something that helps you live your best life, not keep you from it. So you see how that principle applies to Thriving On. It's like we built in an unsustainable way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes learning what doesn't work for us is just as important as learning what does. So I'm really working on looking at this as a perspective of this is a blessing. This is our opportunity to do what's right, to break back down and build back up in a sustainable method that's not only going to be sustainable for us, so that way we can be here for a long period of time and help as many people as we possibly can. That's our mission. But also it's going to be something where if we are sustainable, if we're filling our cups, if we're doing this the right way, then our clients are going to feel that too. Our clients are going to feel that love and they're going to feel us pouring into them. And by no means am I saying that we haven't been taking care of our clients. We've been pouring into it, but these little things have been falling through the cracks and I'm not okay with it. And so what we're going to be doing with Thriving On is basically tearing back down and building back up. That's what we're going to be doing in the business. So that way I can be here for a long period of time, but I can also have peace of mind and live my life. And so my coaches and my staff members can do that too. And my clients can really feel the love that we want them to feel and have the level of services that they deserve to have. And we're going to build slow. And we are going to take our time and we're going to do it the right way. And we're going to make sure that the business is going to be healthy, because if the business is not healthy, then we are not going to be able to do this long term. We're going to make sure that we're healthy while doing it, because if we're not healthy, we cannot pour into our clients. Just like I always talk to my clients that are parents or trying to build their own business or trying to be coaches themselves. If you do not take care of you, if you do not prioritize your fitness and your health just as much as you would for whatever is important to you, your family or your kids, you will crumble and everything around you will crumble as well. It's the foundation to everything. If we don't make sure that we are following through on our end and things like that, if we don't do this, we won't be here for a long period of time. So if you have noticed, over a period of time, we have been getting smaller as a business. We are going back to our core. We're going to our solid core staff and all the coaches that we had before. Don't get me wrong. Love them to death. Absolutely beautiful human beings, but this is what we need to do. We need to go back to the core. We need to pour just into our clients, rebuild our foundation, and build back up. Now, on the back end, we have already been starting this process. We've already been putting this forward, but we're making this official announcement now, kind of like a Thriving On 2.0. Okay. And with Thriving On 2.0, it's going to be different. And one of the cool things that I'm so fucking excited about is that I'm going to get back to coaching. I think one of the reasons why I felt so unaligned with everything is because I wasn't doing what I love to do, coaching people. Like I took a step back because the business grew so fucking fast and there were so many things to do on the back end. I didn't even have time to coach my clients. I had to transition all my clients over to other coaches. And while my coaches took care of my clients and they did a wonderful job, I felt extremely unfulfilled. And just by slowly transitioning and bringing people on my roster, all of a sudden I am 10 times happier as a person, because I feel like I'm doing what I love. That's something that's to my core, who I am. And it's been a night and day difference. So I'm coming back to coaching more people. And then from there, what we're going to be doing is, again, we're going to be making our staff smaller to our core people to really focus on quality. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the changes within Thriving On. Okay. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we are changing the services that we're providing, the one-on-one coaching services. Okay. The one-on-one coaching services is going to change. Before, we just had one-on-one nutrition and we had one-on-one plus. On the plus side, it was way more hands-on, a lot of blood work, a lot of functional nutrition, just really in depth. Okay. We are still going to be providing that, but we're structuring it differently. Okay. What we're going to be providing is 3 different one-on-one coaching tiers, essentially. And they're going to be servicing different needs, and they all have different price points. Okay. The first thing is going to be Thriving On Fit. Okay. We're bringing on Thriving On Fit because this is basically one-on-one fitness coaching. You get personalized programming, you get video review to make sure that your technique, you're staying healthy, you're getting the most out of the workout. So it was a big hole that we saw with a lot of people, is that they're doing the nutrition side of things, but on the body recomposition, getting stronger, getting physically healthier, there was a little bit of a disconnect between people that had a lot of experience in doing it and didn't necessarily need any help, and people that didn't, right? And if you don't know how to keep yourself safe, if you don't know proper technique, if you don't know what's the proper workouts for you, if you don't have a plan, if you don't know how intense you should be doing, you don't know when you should be resting and all these different things, you turn into this person that's doing all this work and not getting the results that you want. So for us to be able to really help people, let's say people that have got a lot of fitness or a lot of the nutrition down, but they haven't really gotten a lot of one-on-one help with fitness side of things, but they can't afford in-person training. Okay, TO Fit. There's it is. For the people that are just want the fitness side of things, maybe they got to handle the nutrition, or maybe they're only mentally ready for the fitness side of things first. That's for them. Okay. Then from there, there's going to be TO Nutrition. So this is going to be our nutrition side of things. Yes, you will get fitness programming if you need it, but it's more standardized. It's not personalized, and you won't get video review. This is for people that actually pretty much have a solid handle on fitness, or they have their own fitness programming, or they don't necessarily have a plan just yet, but They already know the movements. They don't really need a lot of video review. They're good on that. Okay. So this is where the functional side of things, this is where we're going to coach you in a no BS way. And this is where how we coach our people, just full clarity if you've never heard of this before. Okay. The first step is awareness. This is evidence-based methods to create any change that you want. This is something that applies to everything, not just nutrition, fitness. It's business, it's mindset, it's finances, it's everything. In order for you to create change, the first thing that you need to do is create awareness. Because if you don't, how do you know if you're creating the change that you need to be making? Right? You can entirely do the wrong things. That's why cookie cutter approaches don't work. That's why plug and play approaches don't work. You need awareness of what is specifically holding you back, because there's no one right way to do things. Again, that's why cookie cutter approaches, that's why plug and play programs do not work for people long term. Because one of the reasons why is because the first step is lack of awareness. Okay. And by the way, this is how we are going to coach everybody in every single tier. This is just basic, no BS, evidence-based methods to coach somebody successfully to be able to get long-term success. Okay. So the first step is awareness. So for example, let's say that I have a client coming in that wants to get a really strong back squat. Okay. And they're stuck at 160 and their goal is 200. But every single time that they go to build up to 160, they keep getting a threshold, right? They either their mindset gets in the way, or they get achy, or they're losing motivation, or maybe like different things, right? And they're just like, gosh, Casey, like, I don't know why, but I keep hitting 160. And you know what? Like, I keep doing this. And there's only so many times that I'm going to be able to, like, I can fail before I stop believing in the fact that I will actually be able to do it, right? Because for you to have the confidence that you are going to do something, you need like tangible evidence that you are capable of doing it. But if you keep working towards something and keep failing, now you're just reinforcing or conditioning your brain to think that I am not confident in it. I'm not able to do it. Now there's the lack of consistency and discipline that a lot of people are seeing. It's just because they're doing all the wrong things, right? So my job as a personal trainer is to break them down and see what's holding them back, creating awareness, right? So maybe it's their stance, maybe it's their technique, maybe they have some type of like imbalance that they're not aware of. Maybe they just have a poor plan to execute that's setting them up for failure. Maybe they don't have a plan at all. Maybe they're putting the barbell in the wrong. You see all these different things. Some of the things are going to be some like things that the person is aware of, but either doesn't know they need to change and or doesn't know how to change it, or things that they're not even aware of. That's the point of a coach, is to point out your blind spots and also help people fix things that they don't know how to fix on their own that they've been struggling with. So you have to create awareness, because otherwise, if I just give them a plan or just start back squatting, I'm just reinforcing the poor like behavior patterns and the poor movement patterns that they were struggling with in the first place. We've got to take a step back and realize that. So that's the first step of coaching people one-on-one, is awareness. You have to figure out what's going on now, so that way you can fix it, so you can actually break past that barrier. Once we create awareness, phase number 2 is going to be foundation, like building a solid foundation. Okay. So let's say I identify what's holding back the person from the back squat. Once I identify it, then the client and I are going to work together to help fix those things. Okay. So if it's a hip imbalance, okay, now I have to give them movements to help correct that hip imbalance, or slightly start improving it over a period of time. If it's technique, I need to sit down and teach them the proper technique and stay in their corner to reinforce it until it is like muscle memory. It's just something that they do. They don't really have to think about it. If it's a mindset, if it's a lack of plan, I need to help fix their mindset. I need to help provide an effective plan for them to actually execute to see the results that they're looking for, whatever it is. So we have to build a solid foundation. Then once we fix the things that are holding them back, now that's phase number 3. Phase number 3 is execution, right? Or progression, or whatever you want to call it. But we need to make sure that we're doing it in a sustainable way. So for example, if somebody's like, hey, like I want to do a back squat, but I can only work out 3 days a week, I can't be going like, hey, you should be in here 5 days a week. This is the program I'm giving to you. It's not going to work. They're going to try it. They're going to push themselves too hard. Or they're going to be pushing their life too hard. So eventually they're not going to be consistent. I've got to meet them where they're at. I've got to personalize it, Because if the methods are unsustainable, the results are going to be also unsustainable as well. So it's the same thing with nutrition and or fitness. If somebody's busy, I need to alter it. If somebody has restrictions, I need to alter it. If somebody has mindset issues, I need to alter it. If somebody has like non-negotiables, like for me, I have to be able to eat cookies. Like I have a cookie tattoo on my wrist, right? If we do not have all your non-negotiables and all these different things in place to make this sustainable, your results will be unsustainable. And in the fitness side of things, all I'd be doing is reinforcing what he or she came to me in the first place to fix with their back squat. And also with nutrition and fitness, when we're doing this, it's going to be the same thing. People come to us to fix the shit that they're struggling with. So that way they don't have to keep doing this over and over again. They don't need a coach again. They don't need a yo-yo diet again. They don't need to try to achieve something only to fail, to condition themselves to think that they are never going to be able to make the change. So if I don't make changes that are sustainable, I'm just going to be putting themselves in the position that they came to us in the first place. And I'm not okay with that. So now we're going into sustainable change. Okay. And then finally, you need an exit game plan. Okay. This is one of the things that most programs or coaches don't give, either because they don't know how to, they're not educated enough, and or if they gave it to you, they'd stop paying you, right? Or you'd stop paying them, excuse me. They'd stop making money off of you, right? Unfortunately, that's how the nutrition fitness industry, for the most part, is set up, okay? Not everybody wants to give you an exit game plan so you can start doing it on your own, right? So once you created the change that you wanted, that's when we provide the exit game plan. For some people, they're okay with tracking, but they don't want to be tracking for the rest of their life. Just like for some people with the back squat, they're okay with maybe coming in 4 days a week, but they don't want to be doing that all the time. So I need to give them an exit game plan, maybe giving them a program that they can do on 3 days a week to maintain their strength, right? Or maybe it's like, hey, like I love you as a coach, but I don't want to stay in your corner 24/7, which is like the ideal thing. I don't want my clients to be with me 24/7 at all. Then I need to be able to give them the tools to be able to do this on their own, to continue the progress without me being in their corner. I need to give them the confidence, the autonomy to do this on their own. The same thing with the exit game plan, right? Like when it comes to, let's say, fat loss, okay? You go into a calorie deficit, your exit game plan needs to start with a reverse diet. Otherwise, you will gain the weight back and then some, because your metabolism adapts. It will slow down. And as you slow down, once you go back to eating like a normal person, all of a sudden you're in a huge calorie surplus and you gain all the weight back and then some. So the coach needs to do a reverse diet to make sure that all the hard work that they work super hard for, they keep. And then they can give them an exit game plan for them to be extremely confident, to be able to do this on their own, have the tools to be flexible and adaptable, and become essentially what we call the CEO of your own health. Just true autonomy, never needing a coach again. Right? And so that is how we are going to coach, whether it's nutrition or fitness. So those are the phases that we're coaching. Okay. And then finally, there's going to be TO Coaching Plus. That's the final tier. So there is TO Fitness, TO Nutrition, and TO Coaching Plus. So that is for people who are looking for both, right? This is for people that maybe need a little bit more hands-on. Maybe they're a little bit more novice. Maybe somebody that's like, dude, I want in and out as fast as possible. Like, I don't want to be going to nutrition and then fitness and then leaving. Like, I want to do it both. Or somebody that just really loves having coaches in your corner. We're also going to be throwing in that whoever you work with in nutrition, like TO Plus, is going to get free blood panel analysis. So this is where you can get a comprehensive blood panel from your doctor and bring it in, and they'll read it and tell you exactly what that means. Because most doctors don't tell you what that means. It's just like, hey, these are out of ranges. Go throw you medication, or like, hey, you're fine. And you're like, I clearly don't feel fine. I'm a little bit confused. And so now they're all like overwhelmed because they don't know how to read things. They don't know how, like, they feel icky, but nobody's listening to them, and or they don't know what to do through nutrition fitness, like nutrition fitness. Most people would rather take a more of a holistic or a preventative approach rather than just jumping on medications that cost a lot of money. It costs you a lot of time in and out of doctors and comes with its own side effects. Like, a lot of people want to take the preventative approach. Nutrition fitness mindset can actually prevent majority of chronic diseases, majority of cancer, majority of all these different things that we're all afraid of with our health. Nutrition, fitness, and mindset can literally prevent a lot of those or reduce your risk of getting those significantly. Like the amount of clients that we've been able to get off of anti-anxiety medication, depression medication, metformin, like high blood pressure medicine, all these different medications. This is a huge thing that people want to get off of. That's where they go into get into the blood panel analysis. That gives us a specific roadmap on how to do that. Okay. So whatever you're looking for, whatever experience level that you're at, whatever that you want to dive into, like that's all provided within those 3 services right there. Okay. So those are our 3 services. With those 3 services, what we're also going to be providing is a try it before you buy it approach. Okay. Because when you're investing in a coach, that's a leap of faith. You're creating a connection. It's your livelihood. And we understand that. We 100% understand that. Now, before we didn't do a try before you buy it approach. It was more of like, hey, let's sign in, let's commit to long-term, because when you commit to long-term, you're really taking yourself seriously. It wasn't necessarily for us. It was more of like, you have skin in the game. You're committing to yourself. You're going to follow through. That's one of the biggest issues, is that people need accountability. It's one of the biggest things that people ask for is, I need accountability. When you have skin in the game and you have somebody that's responsible and you have no way out, you don't have one foot out of the door, that's the accountability that you're looking for. Right. So that's what we were trying to set up. But we started to see that like a lot of people were timid on trying that because that is a commitment. Right. And 100%, like if I wanted to buy a house, which is a commitment, I would want to walk through the house before I buy it. Right. If I was making a commitment towards a car, I want to test drive the car before I do that. So if I'm going to be working with a health and fitness coach, I want to test drive that before I even commit that long term to make sure that this is the right fit for me. So that's the approach that we're going to be doing. Okay. Is a try it before you buy it approach. Now, we will be asking for a down payment, but it's like only us holding on if by the end of the 30 days, like you hate us, you don't want to continue, like no strings attached, we'll refund it right away. But if not, then that's when we go into our coaching. And it's a 3-month minimum commitment, month by month, or like it's like bi-weekly that we do. A lot of our clients have been really enjoying that. And so that is how we are setting that up. Clear transparency. Those are our 3 services. Clarity. Now, from here, we are going to be keeping it really small with our clients. Okay. We are going to be pouring into them. We are not going to be getting big. I do not want to be one of those businesses that has thousands of one-on-one clients. Now everything gets spread thin. You don't get the attention and the communication that you need. Like for us specifically, we meet with our clients face-to-face on calls. The reason being is because in order for us to make sure that we are effectively making change, communication has to happen. And we have to be very effective communication. 93% of communication happens from tonality, facial expressions, and body language. So for example, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're missing a lot of the communication because you're not seeing my body language and things like that. But you are hearing my tonality and you are hearing different things like that. Okay. The words on a paper is only 7% of communication. So if I'm only texting and emailing them, or even 50% of the time, you're only getting 50% of the time, you're only getting 7% of your coach. That slows things down. Okay. So in order for us to effectively communicate, and also on the responsibility on the client side, they have to effectively communicate with us. We have to give them the opportunity to do so. In order for this to work, communication is the foundation to any really great working relationship. So we have to be able to communicate. So we have live calls. Okay. Towards the end of our client's journey, sometimes they have a little bit more autonomy. They don't necessarily need to talk all the time, but they always have the option to schedule calls with us whenever they need it, because we want our clients to get a little bit more autonomy, 100%. Right. But one-on-one calls has to at least start. And also, if you're like me, texting, emailing, I freaking hate it. I can literally jump on a call and communicate what I need to be communicating in 5 minutes versus back and forth for days. Like, for example, we used to do live calls every other week. And so on the week that we would do like a little bit more messaging and things like that, for me to get the answers as a coach to create change within my clients, I want to be able to get all the answers out of them that I would be able to do in a 5-minute call until the end of the week. So now it's the next check-in, and now we're a whole week behind. So we are going to be, we do all live calls now with our clients. It's 100% unanimous. We do live calls. Now on the Thriving on Fit side, we do bi-weekly calls because we don't necessarily need to meet every single week, but with the nutrition and the coaching plus, we do, because that's a little bit more hands-on work. Nutrition is a lot more like talking through things like that, versus a fitness side of things, not so much, but we still give the opportunity of bi-weekly calls just to adapt and adjust, change the program if needed, communicate certain things, teach them about fitness, go over certain technique and movements, so on and so forth, right? And so with that being said, we will have weekly calls communicating with them as well to make sure that the communication is on point. Okay. From there, keeping it nice and small, pouring into our clients. I'll be coaching more with our 3 services after we really just nail this down and we fill up our rosters. That's that. Like, we're not necessarily going to be growing bigger as a staff. I don't want that. I want a smaller staff. I want us to be able to communicate effectively. I want us to be tight knit. I want us to be able to service all of our clients. But then from there, my next goal for 2024, and I'm putting this down, I'm saying this out loud right now, I'm going to find a method to be able to help people on a larger scale without sacrificing myself, my mental health, and my peace of mind. I don't know how. I have ideas, but I don't know how. One of my biggest goals is to be able to help people that don't necessarily have the budget for one-on-one coaching, but still want to do something until they are in a better position financially to be able to get the help that they need. Because something will always be better than nothing. And some people can actually make some really great changes on their own without one-on-one coaching, right? But they just need the information, okay? So how do I do that on a large scale where I provide so much value to people and create a wonderful community of people? Because I love communities. And sometimes all you need really is just to be surrounded by the right type of people that hold you accountable, call you out on your shit, and give you the information that you need to reach your goals. Like, sometimes that's all you need to get started or make some really great change, right? How do I do that on a large scale? I don't know yet. I'll be 100% transparent. I have some ideas, but I think building the foundation of thriving on with our one-on-one clients needs to happen first. And then once we have that down, we will then start building from there and helping people on a larger scale. Okay. That is what's coming on with Thriving On. Now, here is the other thing that I need to talk about too, is that we will actually be closing our doors for a couple weeks. We won't be taking on new clients. Now, I know January is the year that everybody wants to sign up, like as a business, like in terms of sales and marketing and all that stuff, because we are a business, guys. Big surprise. We need to have a healthy business in order to be able to service a lot of people. In order to do that, we need to close our doors for a couple weeks, beginning of January. We need some time and room to really sort things out, to really nail things down. So that way, when our new clients come in, when you guys are ready, it's there. You're ready, everything. Now, our coaches do have spots available. We're not going to be onboarding a lot. I will put out a wait list. I'll put it in the show notes below if you want to do that. I'll communicate it on the email list. I'll put it in our Surviving to Thriving Facebook group, which is our free group that we have right now with lots of information in there that's absolutely for free. And we will be sharing it on the website as well if you want to go check that out. All the services and everything like that is clearly stated on there. Now, the website is under construction. Okay. I'm filming a video a little bit more. That's why I need a couple weeks to get more clarity. So do not judge the website just yet. It's still under construction, but there's some really great information. And if you have any questions about things, just DM me on Instagram or email me or anything. Like, the contact is below. But we are shutting our doors. We'll create a wait list. And when we are ready, we'll open that wait list up and then we'll be bringing people on. Okay. So the way that it works is, like, if you want to join in, if you think this is a place for you, this is what you need, and you want to join a team of people that really do care about you and really want to love on you and help you win through nutrition, fitness, and mindset, and give you a community and a coach in your corner to really help you succeed and create a solid foundation and do a method that's sustainable, so that way you don't need to do this again. Because I tried and failed for over 10 years and that was miserable. I don't want people to go through what I went through, right? Which I'm going to actually do a podcast. I was thinking about this. This would be a really great way to jumpstart 2024, is If I could start from scratch, day number one, to avoid decades, like majority of my life, seriously, 20 years of, 20 years of my life, I have struggled. I'm 31 right now. So 20 years from a very, very young age. Oh, no. That's too long. I think it's 15 years. Give or take. Who's counting? For a long time of my life, right? Between 15 and 20 years, let's say that, I've been yo-yo dieting, a complete asshole to my body, falling for every single drastic, quick fix, diet pill, program, BS surface level coaching that just made me keep failing, and questioning if I was ever going to be that healthy person, and getting worse both mentally and physically. And it wasn't until I had a coach in my corner to teach me the right way. And so based off of my own mistakes, based off of my own experiences, based off of what's really successful with our clients, I'm just break down specifically what I would do different if I got to just start all over again, to avoid all that time of trial and error and be able to get it done in and out probably in a year, right? Or a year and a half, which in retrospect, from 15 to 20 years to a year and a half, bam, that is a freaking deal. So I'm going to share that with you guys in our next episode. Just stay tuned. But with that being said, 2024 is our year. I'm going to say that. 2024, Thriving On is going to build this. It's going to be something that I've always dreamed of. We're going to do it differently. And I was having a conversation with Calvin not too long ago. And I know this because one of the things that I really specialize in is helping people manage their stress and their mindset and things like that. Because a lot of times their mindset and stress management is what's holding them back and actually causing a lot of the issues that they're running into. So that way they feel like they can't make the change both mentally and physically. And I know this to be true is one of the best ways to become more resilient to stress is by viewing the stress as a good thing. For example, back squats. It's stressful, but we view it as a good thing. So it doesn't have the same physiological effects as, let's say, having something bad and or having something that we view or our perception is bad and catastrophizing things. That's an extreme physiological response on our body. That's why there's a lot of people that develop like autoimmune disorders, mental health issues, IBS, intolerances, acne, all these different things just from stress. Like to beginning of 2023, I was so stressed out and I was having severe gut issues, and my ADHD was super bad and everything. And it all stemmed from stress. And so I had to completely reset. And as soon as I reset, got myself mentally better, reduced my stress through like physical things and mental things, all of a sudden, all my gut issues went away. Like seriously, I started like the protocol that I did beginning of 2023, I started eating 300 calories more and my abs started popping out. And it was because I was just doing the right things. Like stress has such a huge impact on your physique and how you feel and everything. And so with that being said, I need to, if I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to be my best self, which we all want to in certain situations of change, of stress, because you need to be stressed in order to create change. If you can just change your perspective of that situation, right? For example, cup half full, not empty. All of a sudden, the physiological effects do not hurt you so much. So I'm really trying to think of this as, while I take full responsibility as like the ups and downs of the mistakes that we made, the current situation where we had those ups and downs this year, I take full responsibility. Was some of them my fault? I don't know. I'm not trying to blame things, but I will say this, that it is my responsibility 100%. It is on my shoulders and it's my responsibility to fix that. I've always had that perspective in life. It's like, it might not be my fault, but it is 100% my responsibility. I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to take action. So that's what I'm trying to have that perspective of, is that this is a blessing. This is a chance to rebuild something at its best. And sometimes the only way for you to do that is by failing. Like I've talked to so many of my mentors and so many of my friends. I've built extremely successful businesses. I'm so lucky to have them in my life. And every one of them is like, welcome to being a business owner. I went through this too. He went through this too. This person almost went bankrupt this one year. And then the next time they built that because they learned what not to do, all of a sudden they have a super successful business, but they're doing great personally. And so I have to keep that in mind and not be hard on myself that this is a blessing in disguise. This was meant to happen. It's neither good or bad. It's just an opportunity if I choose to make it. And so with this perspective of this is my chance to build this up the right way, to be my best self, to be the best self to other people, to make sure that Thriving On is here for a very fucking long time. I do not want to go anywhere. I want to be right here where I belong, helping people. And the only way to do that is by doing this. So evolution of Thriving On 2.0. We're not building bigger. We're going back to the basics and we're building up again, top to bottom or bottom to top. One of those two. I can't remember. Anyways, that is an honest back end of what is coming through Thriving On. I want to take a second to say that I am unbelievably thankful for my staff, specifically Toby and Rachel. They have been in my corner day number one through all the ups, all the downs, all the mistakes that I've made as a person. They've been there. And Toby would be making fun of me because he hates emotions, but shut up, Toby. Don't make fun of me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate their help. Thriving On would not be here today without them. I would not be in this position today with this business helping so many people without them. And so I'm going to say this. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do. And if you get a chance, please go say thank you to Toby and Rachel. Toby is our one of my coaches. He is the first coach I've ever brought on. He's the person that I trust with me and coaching with all of my clients. Probably one of the best coaches I have ever met, period. As a person, in terms of knowledge, we joke that he's an encyclopedia. He's kind of a know-it-all, but we love him anyways. And Rachel is his wife. She is like the director of operations. She is the back-end person. She is the person that is keeping this business alive. And being honest with you, she kind of runs my life too. It's kind of scary. And both of them have been there day in and day out. They have been showing up. They have been believing in what I believe in. They've been doing everything that they can to build this business the way that we envisioned it. They have the same mission as me, and they've been there through everything. They've been there, call me out my shit, help me grow as a person, help me grow as a leader, help me grow as a coach. They're amazing. So if you know them, and or if you don't even know them, but you appreciate Thriving On in the community and things that we've built, please go say thank you to them, because we would not be here without them. Okay. And from there, sorry, Toby, I got a little bit emotional. From there, again, I'm getting into this evolution of life of not caring about what people think. I was worried about saying this because my ego gets in the way. We built Thriving On so big, and I was getting so much recognition from the outside. Like, I got to step on stage and talk about Thriving On and how we do things in front of about 1,000 people, and it was probably one of the highlights of my life. And then all of a sudden, we were like in a position that we have to completely rebuild. I was in my mind creating this narrative of I'm going to be judged. I'm going to be viewed as a failure. Giving people that, like haters. I don't know if I have haters. I don't know. I kind of stay in my own bubble. But if I do have haters, now I'm giving them fuel. But you know what? I'm just in a life of fuck it. I don't care anymore. I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to do what I believe in my heart is what's right for myself, the people that I love, the staff, our clients. And I'm going to stick by it. I cannot wait to see what we achieve in 2024. I really can't. And if you want to be along with the ride and keep watching, please do. Pop a follow on Instagram. I'll completely be transparent about that. Go into our Surviving to Thriving Facebook group. We'll do lives all the time. I'll be transparent about that. Go on the email list. Become a client if you want to. You can join in if this is something that you love. But I'm very excited about Thriving On. I'm very excited about our clients. I cannot wait to see people keep winning. And yeah, that's about it. That's everything I had to say. I hope I spoke this clearly. I know I went on a couple tangents and rabbit holes, but I just need to get it out. Like, again, I think this was my third or fourth take. I was like, I need to just get this done. So anyways, if you are at the very end of this and you're listening, again, I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for listening to me, like little Casey 10 years ago, who struggled with an eating disorder and was like close to like over 200 pounds. Would have never believed this. And I appreciate you guys so much. And I appreciate every single person that believes in Thriving On and is in our corner and believes in what we're doing. We love you guys so much. You have no idea. And yeah, here's to 2024. Okay, stay tuned for the next episode. Again, I'm going to go into if I could go like start from scratch, what I would do differently to make sure that I like the big thing that I wanted was to get like lean, but I wanted to be strong as hell. And I didn't want to be eating 1,200 calories. I actually wanted to live my life. And I know that if I eat 1,200 calories, I'll like, that's where a lot of the internal health issues, relationship with food issues, I wanted to avoid that. Like I wanted to get long-term success. So how do I do that without putting myself in a position where I'll get worse mentally and physically in the long run? How do I do that? Avoid the 15 to 20 years of trial and error and be able to get in and out within a year and a half. That's what we're going to be doing next episode. So stay tuned. I'll probably release that on Thursday if I want to, or if I have time, being honest with you. Thriving on clients comes first, but that will be in the next episode. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Until next time.